What's up, YouTube? Hope everybody's having an awesome night. And time for another direct to YouTube video. So hopefully y'all enjoy some of what we got going on. As always, before we get started, link down below for the deck list, for the Twitter, in case you want to know when the live stream's happening, Discord, in case you want to come join the Cntrlfreak Discord, talk about shadow, non-shadow, everything under the sun, and the Twitch in case you want to come see a live stream. But Grixis, definitely a highly requested topic. How would I build Grixis right now? And the question is, I don't know. So whenever I'm looking at different variations of shadow, the number one question I ask myself is, why do this? Why do X? Why splash X color? Why explore X variation? And I always want like a solid reason before I start building around that reason. So in this case, it was, why go Grixis? And the big answer would be expressive iteration. I think iteration is like more often than not going to be your go-to reason for going Grixis, is getting access to iteration in your shadow deck. Past that, blue-black, pretty straightforward with counter spells. Red, a little up in the air. Traditionally, it's been going red for Ragavan, for Dragon's Rage Channeler, for Temur Battle Rage. Not sure Battle Rage is quite where I want to be right now, but could be. But I think that the red-based removal spells, Unholy Heat, Lightning Bolt, aren't too bad right now, especially Unholy Heat. Like, being able to deal with Frog pretty proactively, can hit a Murktide, hits Flage, hits everything in the energy decks, can hit like a Flip Tameo, Flip to Johnny, stuff like that. Few Teferis here and there, not too many, but a few. Hits Nadu, hits everything out of like Yawgmoth, hits Grist. So I figured I would give that a shot. I've tried Dragon's Rage Channeler and Ragavan since MH3 dropped, and have been very unimpressed with both of them. So I'm kind of wanting to see what happens if I just skip that part, stick with Shadow, Nethergoyf, got Bogles and Wraiths and iterations to find them, some protection after I get them down, and just like go on the removal heavy plan instead of the counter heavy plan like Dimir. So we'll see what happens. It could very well be that Grixis like this just wants to cut Bowmasters and Kaito and something else and run some frogs. I don't know. I just want to stick with something pretty simple before I add too many wrenches in the plan. So let's talk about the deck list first off. Because I am a Nethergoyf deck, Mishra's Bauble, Street Wraith lend themselves very well with both Nethergoyf and Shadow. Expressive iteration to find all these cheap cards you have access to. And then I threw in a Miser Kaito Shizuki in here just because, one, I love the card, and two, in like your tempo-y style Delver Shadow decks, it's a pretty sweet card to have access to. Not only can it make a body in a pinch, but letting you draw extra cards off your Nethergoyf, your Death Shadow, stuff like that. I did have plans early on. I don't even think I still have the list, but I wanted to put together kind of like a Dimir tempo deck with a bunch of Kaitos and Nethergoyf, Frog, Shadow, Bowmaster, and I might go back to that, but we'll see how it treats me. As far as the counter suite go, I think Stubborn Denial is still the best counter, non-creature counter we have access to with Nethergoyf and Shadow. We've got Spell Snare and Drown in the Lock to kind of help out some of the support. 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Unholy Heat, 4 Bolt, because I want to burn everything. Anything that touches my opponent's side of the board. I just want to be like, burn it. In the sideboard, a 3rd copy of Bowmaster for the draw matchups. Think things like Necro Dominance, 1 Ring decks, what's it called? Goryo's Vengeance, 2 Stern Scolding, 3 Consigned to Memory, 3 Obsidian Charmaul, some tech that I brought over from Bench Summer. Figure since we're going red, we might as well have a reason, and why not strap a Stone Rain onto your 4/4 dragon. 2 Pyroclasm for mostly like the energy matchups. 2 Terminate, help out with big stuff like Murktide, and 2 Unlicensed Hearse. So let's go ahead and hop in, and while we're waiting for the first round, I've got a funny bet going on with Bench Summer, if you want to hear about that. I want to see if Bench can trophy, or really I threw the challenge out to anybody. If somebody can trophy with Shadow with a sideboard Charbelcher juke. So sideboard into 4 Pyretic, 4 Desperate Ritual, 4 Charbelcher, and like 3 Ironcrag feet. And the catch is your main deck has to be like a functional Shadow deck. But then you get to sideboard into all that stuff. And I want to see if anybody's actually able to make it happen. Alright, so opponent's got a Valakut off the rip here. Not a great hand for us against a Valakut deck. I could lead with the Polluted Delta to go and get Undercity Sewers, but I kind of want to just hold up my mana this turn. Golgari Rot Farm would make me believe that it is Amulet Titan. Which does not lend itself particularly well to this hand either. Though, if we can get some stuff going, we might be able to Unholy Heat a Titan. There's a Grazer. So we're really going to need this Expressive Iteration to find like a Thoughtseize. So let's get a Surveil land. Nethergoyf is fine-ish. So I think what I'm going to do is play the Nethergoyf and pass. Plan on like bolting the Arboreal Grazer. And then untap with Expressive Iteration and hopefully find like a Thoughtseize. Really slow hand out of us. A bunch of interaction we really don't want to have access to at the moment. They have like a 1 ring. Alright. Dryad is pretty good. So nothing really changing. We still need to find like Thoughtseize. We need to find some better interaction. Maybe a couple less Unholy Heat. Okay, so we do find our Thoughtseize. I do not have Delirium, so I can't Unholy Heat this Dryad. So I think I'm going to go Mountain to hand, Thoughtseize to exile. And the reason there is I might want this mountain depending on what I see. And it looks like we're kind of just SOL regardless of what we do. I'm just taking our Tarmogoyf or Nethergoyf attack here. Alright. 2 copies of the One Ring. Against all of our copies of Unholy Heat. So they're gonna play this Amulet first, bounce the Gruul Turf to be able to One Ring without using any unnecessary mana. We can kill off the Dryad when we untap. Fortunately, not much else we can do. Need a creature or an artifact in the yard to get this Stubborn Denial online. Which I would not mind doing before they find like a Summoner's Pact. Or just more copies of the One Ring. I feel like they probably could have afforded to keep the old ring and just gotten the protection. But maybe that's showing my naivete when it comes to the One Ring decks. Okay. We're doing stuff. So we've got Delirium. We've got a couple threats. Opponent's graciously losing a little bit of life for us. So we're not in a good spot, but we're not just dead either. Could have a third copy of the One Ring, but here we are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just counting mana to make sure if they Titan, I can wait for like the Titan ETB trigger to resolve and see what they get before I Unholy Heat. Okay. And like with this, I can see where they target with the Dryad before I do anything. Like if they go for my face, like this, then I probably just want to let this resolve. Then for this one, I can let the first resolve. But I guess they can just copy with the mirror pool. But they could have copied with the mirror pool anyway, so there's nothing I could have done to stop that. Oh wait, no, they don't have colorless mana, so they can't copy. So, I mean, if their hand's just a bunch of lands, maybe we have a chance. You know, they at least have a forest. Survey says... Are we... So that second Valakut trigger fizzles because they no longer have enough mountains. Valakut's a weird card because it has a trigger when the land enters, and then that trigger has to resolve. So if it resolves, or when it resolves, it checks again to see if there's enough mountains, and in this case, if it doesn't, then yeah, trigger fizzles. Now we've got an attack in for 14 and a Bowmaster ping. Hope our opponent doesn't have any flash threats. Would you look at that? Totally just how we drew it up. On to game number 2 against Amulet Titan. Terminate, good. Charmals. I don't love Charmal here, but if they're on like Urza Saga and stuff, Urza Saga. Let me pull up a list of all the lands this hits. Saga, the Garden, Mirror Pool. Oh my god, is Amulet Titan finally off the first page of Moto? Staken's gonna be so upset. Alright, what do we hit? Urza Saga, Mycosynth Gardens, Mirror Pool, Handwear Battlements if they're running that, Crumbling Vestige if they're running that. It's like a bit. It can always just be like a big derpy dragon if we get to that point. Drown pretty bad. Some of the bolt effects are pretty bad. Spell Snare I don't think hits anything outside of like Explorer and Nantuko. But Stern Scolding does hit Dryad. It's kind of my last consideration is maybe I just want to cut one more removal spell for like the Bowmaster. Or Consign hits Amulet, but I'd like that better on the play than on the draw. Why not? We'll bring in the other Bowmaster. Do something like this. First Amulet list I see from House of Mana has got Bajuka Bog in the sideboard. Looks like a lot of them do, so that's probably pretty common. All right. As Mama always says, don't throw back a shadow hand with a bunch of thought seizes. Terminate. Much as I want terminate, I don't think we're quite at that time. So are we gonna just take Grazer? Yeah. Well, one way or another, we are destined to have a terminate. Unfortunately, we can't get there with Mirror Pool with this this Charmal, because that would be sick if we could take out the Saga right here. Titan and a Pact. So next turn they'll be able to float a mana, get an Amulet, bounce land up to 4 mana. Four mana is not Titan mana, thankfully. It's also not double green. Mana is a little awkward. They might have to like just play. All right, I was gonna say they might have to just play the Boseiju here. All right. Well, at least we know going into game 3 that maybe Obsidian Charmal is not quite where we want to be. But you never know if you don't try it out. Let's find us a fetch land. So close. Okay, well, still not in a bad spot. We do really need a red source. It's endurance, sure. I mean, we don't need a red source so badly if our opponent hits us with an endurance, so that's kind of cool. But I kind of need one for a Titan. Who knows? Maybe they get greedy and like Summoner's Pact for a Dryad. That'd be really good for us. I think if they Summoner's Pact for a Dryad here and just like cast the Dryad into Stern Scolding, we almost like win on the spot. If we find a land or red producing land, we win on the spot. Just about. Almost. Almost. Alright. So we do have to Stubborn Denial a Summoner's Pact. Two, three, four, five, six. Do we think they have the actual Titan? Rough. So now just haste land allows them to kill us. Charmal would have looked better on the play. Because I think, yeah, turn 3, they would have had, or our turn 3, assuming we had red lands, whatever. They would have had Urza Saga Mirror Pool to start, and we could have strip mined them and got a 4/4. So maybe I want to keep in like 1 or 2 Charmals in game 3. Alright, opponent finds the ability to haste up their Titan. Yep. I probably could have not scooped there, because if they just attacked with the Titan and not the Endurance, then maybe there's a little chance, but kind of okay moving on to game 3. We'll bring in a consign. Actually, we'll bring in 2 consigns on the play. We'll fight over amulets a little bit, and we'll keep that one little Charmaw. Maybe, just maybe, the magic gods will bless us with that 3rd land. My fingers are crossed. And if they don't, then that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Oh. Magic gods, you tease. I'm definitely throwing it back. Alright, that's much better. So we'll bottom the mountain. Shock in our steam vents. I guess we can bobble them first. Don't think it matters too terribly much. Might make them think there's something important on top of their deck. And I don't think we showed them Stubborn Denial game 1. So maybe they don't have counters on their mind. So maybe they just go for the amulet. Opponent must be triple queued. I'm like looking at amulet lists over here, and they are a little all over the place. I'm seeing like some Nadu lists with Spring Heart. I'm seeing Malevolent Rumble lists with Shifting Woodlands. I'm seeing Harsh Mentor in the sideboard with Defense Grid. What else do we have? Fire Spout. Obviously a bunch of One Rings. Green Red Titan with Roxanne Starfall Savant. Man, Amulet players are wild. The Amulet players that clearly doesn't want me to finish this game. Hope they didn't disconnect. Nope. Maybe it's been too long and they forgot that I played my Steam vents untapped. Hope it's not like a my internet thing. Internet speed test. What does it say? "21 pings, pretty bad. 575 down. Nope. Internet's fine. Maybe they got something to do. Well, could be awkward. I don't want to win a game to time. At least I would prefer not to. If this were like a challenge, we might revisit that idea, but not in just a league. I know it's terrible content for everybody watching to have to sit here and listen to me rumble on. Oh. We got a Saga. Do we have an Amulet? Nope. So there's a decent chance this consign might be saved to counter the search trigger off the Amulet. Assuming we can find another land. Okay. I will say their time is going to be pretty constrained if this ends up going to game 3. We're up 8.5 minutes. It's turn 2 of game 2. This would be such a good time for Charmal to show up. The irony. The irony. Okay, let's think about this. My big concern is if this expressive iteration misses on a land, then I can't consign to memory. So I think I'm going to hold the iteration. I'm actually really tempted to bend the shadow. I probably shouldn't. So they're gonna try to fetch. We're gonna consign the Urza Saga trigger so they don't get to fetch. Charmal is online. That's something. Charmal is no longer online. Now, I know I'm not streaming this. Let's go red, blue. Thoughtseize to hand. Nether Goyf to the bottom, sink into stupor to hand. Play out our shadows. We have a threat down. Then depending on what they do next turn, we might Charmal the mirror pool. We might Thoughtseize plus a threat. Very reasonable chance that they just like cast a one ring here. Or a Dryad. Okay. Man, these Charmal back and forths are so awkward. Double Summoners Pact. Okay, let's attack with Shadow. Play a new Shadow, and we'll just Unholy Heat the Dryad here. They'll be able to get down a Titan next turn, but at least they have to Summoner's Pact to do it, which means we get a turn to terminate, and they've got to go pay for Pact. It's not like a horrendous trade-off for us. Cavern is down. Would you just naturally top deck a Titan? Bruh. We gotta have a discussion about this. I can't have you just continually top decking Titans naturally instead of pacting for them. Okay. So I can terminate plus charm all, right? Or am I just dead if I do? I might just be dead. Because they can pact for a dryad. Yep. No reason for him to block with the second one. So let's charm all down the mirror pool. Oh, that could have blown up anything. Oh, dang. I thought this was only blow up a land that produces colorless. So I could have just shot down, like, the Valakut. That was pretty bad, right? Yeah, that was super bad. They've already played a land. So all they have to do is go get like another Valakut. And even if I kill Dryad, they can just pact for another Dryad. Yeah, I punted that super hard. So I definitely thought Obsidian Charmal like only blew up a land that produced colorless. I didn't think it was destroy any non-basic land, which apparently... obviously it says on the card. That's really good to know. So they're going to point about 1 billion Valakut triggers at my face. We going to terminate here for the heck of it. Let all these fizzle. Block. Go to 2, but like I said, they've got another Summoner's Pact for another Dryad. Assuming they have more than 2 in their deck. Yep. Okay, punt on our part. Let's see, would it have mattered if I shot down the Valakut and terminate the Titan? Yeah, that absolutely does it for me, right? Shoot the Valakut, terminate the Titan. They were tapped out. So I had to do it on my turn so they couldn't like mirror pool the Titan because I can't let the Titan go to combat. But yeah. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory by not reading our cards. Hopefully y'all hold me accountable in the comments section and like don't let me get away with misplays like that. Also goes to show how many times I have registered Obsidian Charmal in a Modern League. Big zero. I'm sure that's like Charmal 101. Like, hey, this thing blows up any non-basic. Don't let it fool you. Minim 1491. I think I just played this person like yesterday. Ooh, little Bogles. Little Bogle action. So whether or not I win this game is going to depend on my ability to find a blue source and find a shadow. Bogles, you have game against if you can get down to shadow to like stand in front of their dudes. Blue source is excellent. So I'll wait and see what happens before I commit to anything. But having Spell Snare for like a what's the 2-mana one? Daybreak Coronet. So now they can't attack profitably. Street Wraith is really nice here. Let's keep pumping up these Nethergoyfs. I mean, I'm not going to turn down more Nethergoyfs. Now, if they play another Ethereal Armor, I might just let it resolve and plan on, like, Bowmaster chump block. Because I just have them dead to Nethergoyfs plus Bolt on the way back. But yeah, you can have this. And I will chump with the Bowmaster. Because if they do find a Daybreak Coronet, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not dead. Alright. Pyroclasm seems pretty good. Stern Scolding seems good. Ooh. I want to board out, like, most of the spot removal, but I want to leave some amount in because they do usually play stuff like Light Paws or, what's the 2-mana... The white one that draws cards whenever you play an enchantment. or aura. It's like +2/+2 for everyone equipped to it. But stuff like that is definitely pretty popular. So I want to have some answers to it in the deck. Board out an iteration because it's just a little slower, a little clunkier. Man. Bogles in the year of our Lord 2024. Sitting here playing the game. Still don't believe it. Alright. It's not a great hand on the draw. We really kind of need a threat. So I'm kind of inclined to mulligan here. They kept... Like, I really want to turn one Nethergoy for, like, a shadow I can get down pretty quickly. If I was on the play, I'd keep this since I could interact with their first threat. But on the draw... Alright, that's a lot better. Just throw back Bowmaster. Now I basically need to focus counters on things that say Daybreak Coronet or things that say Flying. Ha. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Gotta keep in some amount of removal. They've got another Bogle. They've got an ethereal armor. On the bright side, if they do just like double strap up this Bogle, I can stand in front of that pretty well, at least at the moment. Play around my Liliana of the Veil. Smart. I don't have an instant in the yard. So Goyf could be a 4/5 or Shadow could be a 5/5 if I bolt myself. Let's go upside. Let's go Shadow. Little extra pop in case they do have an enchantment to grow this Slippery Bogle. Good start. I was gonna say, are you gonna play around me bolting myself? Dub is great. We'll just play out Bloodstained Mire, pass the turn, hold up Stub or Spell Snare in case they have another like Light Paws or the other one. In case they have another Light Paws. Alright, so I'm going to let this resolve and plan on bolting it because it doesn't trigger until an aura enters the battlefield. Like, I don't think they have any just flash auras that save it. Famous last words. Is there any reason I want to make this 8? Yeah. I think I'm closing out the game, like, fast enough. Hopefully. If they fetch down to 10, that means that I've got Shadow plus Bowmaster plus Token. Daybreak Coronet. I would like to spell snare that. Go ahead and be mana efficient here. Guess I could have Veil of Summer. I don't feel like Bogles is a deck that typically wants or really cares about Veil of Summer. Rancor. Yep, gotta chump with something. Shadow gets through, say go. See if they want to just draw the Rancor. Nope. Is there a green-white Surveil land? If so, I don't know why they're not playing it. All the glitters. +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. Sure. Still on chump block duty to my Nethergoyf and Shadow. Alright. So I'm assuming they probably have a Dryad Arbor. Whether it's still in the deck or not, I don't know. But that's what that Windswept Heath kind of represents to me, is they might have another chump blocker. Not that there's a ton I can do about it, but just to keep in mind that anytime you alpha strike, they could either have a surprise blocker, or if they have a fetch land available, they could have a surprise attacker on the way back. So be careful against Bogles to keep a lookout for fetch lands. What do we got for round number 3? Amulet, Titan, and Bogles. I feel like this is a throwback league to 2017. Funny story. One of my first GPs I played in, I was playing Jund, and I get to day 2, and it's like, I don't know, round 4 or something of day 2. And I sit down across from my opponent, and he's got a playmat with like a Glistener Elf on it. It's when Infect was pretty popular. He's got a playmat with Glistener Elf. Before the match starts, he like breaks out his Infect die. I just throw him back a Nethergoyf. Maybe like Saving Sundering Eruption. Breaks out his like poison counter die and something like that. And I sit down, and like my first thought is just immediately, there's no way this dude's actually playing Infect. Like, no Infect player in the history of Infect has started their match with breaking out the infect counter, or breaking out the infect dice on like a Glistener Elf playmat, because your entire thing is like, gotcha, game one. And sure enough, they were on Bogles, and they were like trying to get people to keep hands with a bunch of removal, thinking it was infect, and they were just gonna run them over with Bogles. Luckily, I was playing a deck with Liliana of the Veil, so pretty good into the Bogles. We'll just take another Ephemerate. If they want to Ephemerate this Grief and take my Sundering Eruption, I guess they're welcome to. I think Doomwake made a big argument, or not a big argument, but a big video about like Grief and the play patterns around Grief. I get it. It's a pretty miserable card to play against. It's just really, really boring gameplay to play against Grief. Like, okay, I've got the answer to Grief. Do you have the answer to my answer? Did you find another Ephemerate? Nope. Now I've got to find an answer to them, but all of my them answers get solituded. Black, whatever. Exile, creature, land, sorcery, instant. Get back another Goyf, because hey, at least it's something. So there you go. Now we're at the part of the game that I like to call, please, for the love of all things Magic the Gathering, let me draw an expressive iteration. That is the scientific name for it. Iteration. I'll get in for 3 first. If I Thoughtseize, they're pretty likely to... I wouldn't say pretty likely, but there's a reasonable chance that they would just Solitude. And I don't want my Nether Goyf getting Solituded. I guess we're going to take an Archaeologist. They're doing nothing. I guess they have Solitude Ditch Priest. So, like, their nothing is still more than my something at the moment. Definitely kind of wishing for a second copy of Undercity Sewers at the moment. Not from them, from me. Kept on top. So it could be another land. It could be... yeah. Okay. Interesting. So we're gonna thought seize away the solitude. Go down to 3. Please do not get a surveil land in response to this. Okay. Take a moment. I hate these lines so much. The number of times that I see somebody fetch and surveil in response to a thought seize is absolutely insane. Like, I'm thought seizing right now. Why are you surveilling in response to this? One of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to see something on top that you want to keep there, and it's not going to influence my decision at all, because I don't know what it is. Or the worst case scenario is you're going to see like an Atraxa and Bennett, and now I just immediately know, take the Goryo's Vengeance. Just cut you off of being able to do anything crazy next turn. That's what I'm talking about. Like, what benefit are you getting from surveilling in response to the thought seize? You just gave me a free take the Goryo's Vengeance. Obviously, it would have been a lot better if I had a removal spell for the Priest of Felrites, but it still makes the point. Like, why? So I need like a drowning lock. Nope. Like, and it's not even against Goryo's. I've seen it happen so much out of like Dimir Murktide, where they just go, in response to your thought seize, I'm going to fetch up an Undercity Sewers. And just, why? Like, what are you hoping to accomplish with this? It's right up there on my pet peeve list with when people have a bauble. Like turn 1, I've got a Dragon's Rage Channeler. I'm on the play. I got a Dragon's Rage Channeler. I play a bauble. I surveil off the Channeler. And then I immediately crack it and target you with the bauble. What are you getting out of that exchange? All you're doing is drawing a card into my turn where I could potentially have a thought seize or something. And for no benefit. Like, you can just wait till my upkeep and crack that bauble. The only exception is if you're playing a deck that has like Force and Negation in it, and you want to give yourself a chance of drawing the Force and Negation. I guess I should have explained sideboarding a little bit more. Grave Hate coming in. That's about it. I'll keep since we got Bauble into Wraith. Gotta filter a little bit. Maybe I can find like a Nethergoyf on top. Okay. Just have mana for Expressive Iteration. Like there, I bobble myself on my turn to influence my draw with my fetch land. Makes sense. Go ahead and counter that. And like here, I know, did I bring in Stern Scolding? If not, I was supposed to. Yeah. Even without drawing this Street Wraith, I would have bobbled myself on my own turn here because I do have counter spells in my deck, and I would like to have access to those on my opponent's turn. Or like Bowmaster. Pretty sure I shuffled you away. Alright, so need to be careful of a discard effect here. Like a Faithful Mending style effect. Wraith to hand. Shadow to exile. Kaito Shizuki. I will say so far in this this series of Grixis games, it has felt fairly underwhelming. My ability to like filter through the deck a little bit more and my ability to interact on the stack. And I think a lot of that comes from like one, having a lot of these, I guess, misses with things like Unholy Heat and Lightning Bolt, stuff like that, that I'm playing against a lot of decks that those aren't doing anything against. We've played 3 matches into Goryo's Amulet Titan and Bogles. I would really like to find another counter spell. Hearse isn't bad. All right, let's take a hearse. Do kind of have to chill on this hearse for a bit because I can't just fire it off at a point where my opponent could have like a draw spell into Goryo's Vengeance. I can deal with a hard cast Grief. Taking my shadow is kind of interesting. Maybe they don't have a solitude. Guess we get to find out. So let's go ahead and get you off the board. Thankfully, they are a little ways off of hard casting Goryos. Oh. Maybe that'll give me a chance to get down Kaito. Draw a card or two. Alright. Attack with Nethergoyf. Get down the Kaito. Perfect draw. Thank you, Kaito. I do always love the ability of these decks to, like, have all of these surveil lands and never seem to draw them naturally. Where I put one Undercity Sewers in my deck and I feel like it's in 75% of my opening hands. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. I apologize. That's on me. Alright, so now I know their hand is Plains Gristlebrand Unknown. So I can just untap, play out the Bowmaster, crew the hearse, and attack. It's like a little scoop lag. All right, on to game number 3. Mentioned that game that I should have brought in Stern Scolding. Cut like a bolt and there's like a bolt and a wraith. Decent hand. We've got threats. We've got some interaction with Thoughtseize. We had threats. We had some interaction with Thoughtseize. Taking my bauble. I mean, I'm pretty okay with that. I see. The truth has been revealed. What would you like? Kept something on top. Let's go ahead and get you out of here. I guess realistically, I should have played the shadow first, like put the shadow on the stack, at least, and then gone for the heat. So if they did have an ephemerate, they couldn't take my shadow, and then vice versa, my expressive iteration. Fairy. Yay. Prismatic ending, also yay. All right, so we're gonna play out a shadow, pass the turn. We know that they have a prismatic ending, but maybe I can find an unholy heat or something. Yep. Psychic frog. So am I just going Hearse to hand, Sundering Eruption to exile? There's another shadow. You have a solitude. Yeah, you do. Ah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. They did not take up their Teferi. All right, get me down to 10. I can get an Undercity Sewers here. Maybe find something. All right, Let's just go for the Teferi. See if we can find another threat to take out the Solitude or stand in front of the Solitude. Expressive Iteration. Expressive Iteration, Shadow, Nethergoyf. Another Polluted Delta. Yeah, I know they got plenty of Surveil lands. Kept something on top. I got a feeling the only way I'm going to have a chance of getting out of this is an expressive iteration into two things. Like, if one of their cards is just a Celestial Purge or something like that, then I can't do a whole lot. But expressive iteration into maybe Thoughtseize Nethergoyf, Thoughtseize Shadow, something like that might have been okay. Opponent's name looks familiar. Got a Giganta the Wellspring, so I'd assume Mardu energy. Or not. Some sort of energy. So I'm gonna bobble myself. See if the top land, like, or top card like that is exactly a land. If it is, I'll pass with one of my interactive spells. If it was not a land, I would fetch, shock, and probably play the Nethergoyf. Got a 1-drop. Ravioli. I think I'm just going to ignore the Ragavan, honestly. No. Never mind. I think the tempo swing is too nice. Like kill a 1-drop on tap, double 1-drop. Static Prison. Blood Moon, Amped Raptor. Alright. Just take the Amped Raptor. Play out our Nethergoyf. If I played off the basic swamp, I think I just have to get like a Watery Grave and play it out. If I get basic swamp and play it out, then I just shut off like my expressive iteration. I also shut off my ability to iteration into like a fetch land and play out a shadow that dodges Flage. Because, I mean, if they play out Blood Moon, then they stop themselves from getting back Flage, which is a pretty big deal. That means I can for sure get Shadow down. I might as well go for the iteration. Ooh. Okay. Option number one. I can just take the Thoughtseize in exile. And just, like, fetch basic swamp, cast the Thoughtseize. Option number two. I could put the Street Wraith in hand, the Mire in exile, fetch the basic swamp, play the Shadow, and then if they go for Flage my Shadow, I can cycle Wraith so it survives. That would let me go ahead and get down the Shadow. Which I kind of like. Alright, I'm going to do that. This is a heck of a lot worse if they have Galvanic Discharge here. But the hope is that this is just like play Flage, go to shoot the Shadow, and let me cycle and survive and get a turn closer to like getting Nethergoyf back. Or just play Blood Moon. They never just play Blood Moon. So if I fetch and shock here, if they have a fetch land, they can play Flage next turn. Which seems kind of bad for me. But if they don't have a fetch land, then I get in some damage this turn, I get in some damage next turn, and then maybe I can like Sundering Eruption after that. So that is what we call not a fetch land. Alright. So I know one of their cards is Blood Moon. As long as their other card isn't Lightning Bolt, we can kill them here. I can Sundering Eruption, some land that doesn't really matter. The important thing is they don't have enough energy to like shoot down the shadow. Like I said, this entire thing banks on their one unknown card not being Lightning Bolt. And survey says realistically we probably could have like passed the turn and wait for them to put Flage on the stack and then bolt, like play out Nethergoyf, pass the turn, wait for them to put Flage on the stack and then cast Lightning Bolt, but that seems unnecessary. Either they got it or they don't. Do have a bunch of cards for the energy matchup. Curse for Flage, Terminate for yes, Pyroclasm for their entire existence. Bowmaster pings down some stuff. Stern Scolding counters some stuff. Do something like that. Rely on all the removal. Ooh. I don't know if y'all heard that through the microphone, but my shoulder just popped in like 7 different places. I think this hand's a big no for me. Like, no removal spells whatsoever. Pretty slow. Much better. We'll throw back the Bobble. That's a pretty good draw. So with that in mind, I think we're just going to shock in Watery Grave and Thoughtseize. Take Galvanic Discharge so that they can't play Guide and like discharge their own Guide to be able to grow the Ocelot Pride. Guide is down. Flooded Strand is down. And then we'll just get basic Mountain and Pyroclasm. I could like wait for more on the board, but I think I'm just being greedy if I wait too long. Like just take the 2 for 1. I've got more removal lined up after that. And it hits a Terminate. Alright, so they've got Static Prison, Ragavan unknown. Don't really need another blue land. Right. Not flipping a Flage into the yard's a pretty nice thing on our part. Okay, so this is where hopefully we can kind of turn the corner a little bit. He said optimistically. I think I am going to go ahead and play out the shed. No. I was going to say for a second, like, I wouldn't mind playing out the shadow. So if they have to static prison it, I can go ahead and, like, start getting the energy working against them. God of Souls is fine. Can trade 1-for-1 with God pretty easy, so I don't need to commit a counterspell to it. Save my counters for like a Johnny and Amped Raptor and that sort of stuff. Alright, just pass back. And now they hit me down to 11. I can fetch and shock down to 8. So Shadow's not dead to a Galvanic Discharge. So, it's Bowmaster. Really not killing much that I'm not killing already. Another heat is good. Opponent did not add Giganta to hand last turn. I was gonna say, I wonder if that means like Felia. I don't think a lot of these lists are running Felia anymore. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Okay. I'm gonna static prison my shadow. Now I want them to commit to the energy if they're going to give the guide flying. That's 3 less energy I have to fight through to get my shadow back. What do we want to do? Bolt to hand. Nethergoyf to exile. It gets really, really rough if they have a Flage. I guess it's not that rough. Like not in Holy Heat, but yeah, actually minimal amounts of rough. For some reason, I was like, oh, I have to hold up blue. I've got to hold up counter magic. And I can't deal with Flage if they counter. But then I was like, I got Unholy Heat. I can Unholy Heat a Flage. Alright, we'll definitely shoot down a Shaman token. It's very kind of our opponent. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming in next turn. No way to add another card type. Looking at, nope, Flage. So they are going to go upstairs with the Flage. So that means I just want to be mana of... Oh no, they can get Flage back. If they exert and they go at my face, it's not a whole lot I can do here. It's always funny in games like this where everything kind of matters. Like the treasure token mattered. Finding the Flage when they did mattered. The fact that it took them so long to find the Flage mattered. So I need like a Drown in the Lock. Which that is not. I guess Drown in the Lock or a Unlicensed Hearse would have done it. Oh, Flage. Flage, Flage, Flage. Maybe opponent's nice enough to do something that doesn't involve getting Flage back. Doesn't look like they're that generous. And this is just easy go to the face. Alright. Well, we got a game 3. I don't feel like I played that one that poorly. Just kind of played at the inopportune time. But we do get to go back to game 3 on the play. And on the play is a pretty nice place to be against energy. I would love to play first. Alright. We'll find a blue source. They're on a mulligan. Johnny. Okay. Finding that blue source would be pretty key. Right on time. Alright, see if they want to go ahead and fire off that Ajani. They might have a blood moon if they're fetching up the basic island or basic plains there. We'll spell snare over stern scolding. Just because scolding could potentially hit like a guide of souls down the road if I need it to. Where spell snare cannot. Would you like to pay 1 more for that? All right, this is going to be one of those moments that I'm like, let's see if we can not get got by a blood moon. And I'm going to do something like fetch up Undercity sewers here because I need to filter my draw. And then they're going to untap and play a blood moon. I'm calling it. pretty good one. So we take a hearse, a Sundering Eruption into exile, just play it tapped. God, it's fine. Flage is annoying, but we've got the hearse. Should have just Unholy Heated in response to the Flage. I was definitely sitting here thinking like, oh, I'm not Stern Scolding on the Flage, so I just like don't care about it. I kind of forgot that Guide of Souls has text. Alright, so we'll go ahead and exile the Flage so they don't get any sort of an opportunity to get it back. Can't pass to their turn because if once they go to their main phase, they have priority to just put Flage on the stack. Alright, well, more than likely that's getting basic swamp unless I find a shadow. Wait to see what they surveil over. It is not another copy of Flage. Well, we knew it was coming eventually. Get our basic swamp. Got a Blood Moon. So now we're locked off of blue from now until the end of time. That doesn't care about blue now, does it? I might save that for a minute. It depends. If they go like dash in Ragavan, yeah, I'm going to use it. But I'm kind of wanting to save it to make Hearse just like a 2-shot. Which would mean not playing out the Bowmaster too early. They're also not putting Flage in, or Giganta in hand again. Like here, I'll play out the Bowmaster because it does make Hearse a 2-turn clock with the ping, right? This is 8. Or I guess I want to go to my turn and do it so they can't like discharge the Bowmaster. Or they can in response to the trigger. So all in all, didn't matter. Yep. Okay. Maybe they'll waste like a static prison on the Bowmaster. You got it. All right. I guess we don't really have to worry about Flage anymore. That's such a good draw. Such a good draw. Now, even if they discharge the Nethergoyf, I can escape it. Yep. I guess that's smart. Give yourself one more draw. Never mind. Or they get another draw if they have a discharge. Does not appear that they do. Nice. 2-2. On to match number 5. With the old Grixis Death Shadow. I will say Grixis has felt like it needs one more threat to fit kind of what I want to be doing with Grixis. And it might be that it's just a delve threat. It's like we have had a lot of moments where our graveyard was pretty chock full, like enough to play a delve threat and still have Delirium or still have Nethergoyf pretty solid. Now, obviously, if you go like turn 1 something, turn 2 Nethergoyf, turn 3 delve it away, that's not going to be as good. But maybe just like a 2 or 3 of delve threat. Win the die roll. Thoughtseize, Shadow, Street Wraith, Kaito. Pretty easy snap keep. We've got 8 points of life loss right here, so I know I can get down Shadow turn 2 if I absolutely need to. Don't know what we're up against yet, so we're just going to lead on Thoughtseize. I don't want to be up against, like, Burn. What is this hand? Is that a Xander's Lounge? Xander's Lounge with an elegant... Oh, this must be creativity. That's probably what this is. I was kind of hoping to find a fetch land there so that I could play out Shadows of 4/4 and know that it's going to dodge Lightning Bolt, but Alas, here we are. Yeah, this has got to be creativity. Maybe not. I kind of feel like if it was creativity, they'd be holding their fetches. Play out some of these tapped lands, unless they're just drawing more lands and they want to be cycling Xander's Lounge. Ulamog. Yeah, we'll spell snare Ren. I still feel like it's creativity. But maybe I'm just like horribly off on that. At the very least, we can put them dead if we find a fetch land. So, dead to a fetch with double counterspell. Pretty good place to be. Alright, so I'm gonna counter Ren in case they don't have another fetch land. They can't get a token to block. And then in this case, they do have the fetch land, so maybe there's a chance that they can't block anymore after like once. Gonna show them that we have lethal. Yeah, I think Ren and 6 Fable has kind of got to be confirmation that it's a creativity list. Really don't have much for creativity. I could bring in Hearse if I think they're using the graveyard at all. I wasn't expecting Ulamog, honestly. Yeah, I just don't think I'm going to bring in Terminate. Maybe bring in Bowmaster over like Kaito on the draw. Could bring in Consign. That might be worth it. Can stop the ETB trigger on the land that makes a dude. ETB trigger on Archon. Board out a couple bolts. Call it a day, see what happens. I've got 2 shots at a land. If I don't hit it, I've essentially got 3 dead cards. Stub is really good in the matchup. Don't think I can do it. Turn around and give me like the exact same hand just about. But it does have a Wraith, so I've got one extra shot at it. Spinning a Veil of Summer. You love to see that. It's actually a really good pickup off that Wraith, because now I can filter my top card, see if it's something I want, and I can play out the Nethergoyf to dodge a potential lightning bolt if I want. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just gonna play out Nethergoyf. There's a reasonable chance that they just go for like a Wrenn and 6 on turn 2 instead of going for a bolt. Ending's fine. Good one. So play out another Nethergoyf, hold up stub. Yeah, we're just gonna stub that. So hopefully I can like untap and expressive iteration. Now it's a bit of a gamble. I think I'm gonna take it though. Definitely rewarded. Definitely rewarded. I needed to find a blue land there to hold up Consign. Consign, I would hit a Dwarven Mine ETB trigger, because that very likely could just shut the turn down. In this case, we'll just hit the Fable. And they don't have another land. Don't have another land. I get to kind of hold up everything. Alright, so here is a lethal threat on board. They go for a Dwarven Mine. I think I just consign the ETB trigger. Do I consign the trigger? Or do I let them just, like, go for the creativity? I guess I just let them go for the creativity. Use up all their mana. Then we Bowmaster ping the token. Yeah, so I guess my thought process there is if I consign the ETB trigger on the land, then there's a chance that they could have a follow-up of like Prismatic ending a Shadow or a Nethergoyf, or play a Fable, something like that that stops me from killing them. If I don't consign and they go for the trigger, then they still could have one of those things, and I like Bowmaster down the token, and they have to chump block with the other token. Like, let's say they have a Fable. I Bowmaster down the token. They have to block with the Shaman, and I can still consign the next land. So it doesn't change that much, but either way. Okay, so back to the list. I think Nethergoyf was great, and I think Shadow's still great right now. I think it dodges a lot of good spells, like not being dead to opposing bolts or galvanic discharges, flages, stuff like that is very relevant. Stub I still think is really good, despite having a lot of like creature-based matchups, like Energy, Amulet Titan we saw. But then you see like Goryo's Vengeance. You're like, I really wish I had Stub. The red removal kind of sucks. And I know that's like a variance thing, but we saw 4 matchups. Amulet Titan, Goryo's Vengeance, Creativity, and what did we see? Amulet Titan, Goryo's, Creativity. Saw Boros Energy, where obviously the removal's good. What was that 4th matchup? Goryo's Vengeance. Amulet Titan. Creativity. Oh, Bogles. So I know Bogles isn't part of the meta. I'm not going to harp on that one too much. But we saw 4 out of 5 matchups where the red base removal was like not good. So I feel like that should be a pretty good sign of its position. That being said, we did see like 4 matchups. 3. I'm not going to consider Creativity a good one. But 3 matchups where Ragavan would have been pretty good. So maybe Ragavan's better than I'm giving it credit for. But I also only saw Boros once, where normally I feel like I see it 17 times per league. I know that math doesn't add up. Just trust me, it's 17 times per league. I really think what Grixis is missing is a 3rd threat. Like, you got your 4 Shadows, 4 Nethergoyf, and then just like one more thing in kind of these slots or something like that. Maybe it's Ledger Shredder again. Pretty nice with Nethergoyf. Maybe it's Dragon's Rage Channeler, but I don't know. Personally, I'm really anti Dragon's Rage Channeler right now for a few reasons. For one, it dies to Galvanic Discharge without having to put anything else into it. It dies to Flage Trigger. It can't attack through Nadu. I feel like all those are pretty reasonable explanations for not liking the card at the moment. I wouldn't mind trying a delve threat here. I think when the set first dropped, I tried some Grixis with Nethergoyf Shadow and Gurmag Angler. And just kind of like threw the anglers in. But they were very awkward with Nethergoyf and Gurmag. So maybe that's not the answer. Maybe you just have to throw in like 4 Thought Scours and then throw in your Nethergoyfs, whatever, your Gurmag Anglers. Whatever the case may be, it didn't click well with me. And so I do want to change it up a little bit. Sideboard wise, Stern Scolding, great. Consign, I think, is necessary. Charmaul, if I had known what Charmaul does, would have looked a lot better. So that's on me. I screwed up Charmaul, I admit it. Pyroclasm was great. Terminate's great. Unlicensed Hearse is great. So a lot of the sideboard stuff I'm pretty happy with. But main deck, it's just finding a third threat. Like, you can't have those inconsistent games where you just don't get something down on the battlefield. Maybe it's Scourge of the Skyclave, since we have Nethergoyf that can come down on turn 1, bolt upstairs. You could run Tamiyo in the deck if you cut like 3 of the red spells or something for 3 Tamiyo, and then cut like these 4 for 4 Preordain, then I wouldn't be opposed to Tamiyo. It could be Psychic Frog. It probably does need to be Psychic Frog, honestly. I don't know why I'm like beating around the bush on that too much. Probably just go with Psychic Frog and call it a day. But yeah, I'll test that out at some point pretty soon. So look forward to that video. As always, thank y'all so much for hanging out and checking out the league. Greatly appreciate all the continued support. It is making it absolutely awesome and so much fun to try out Shadow Variants when we've got a lot of excitement in the comments. A lot of people asking questions, giving feedback, coming into the Discord, asking questions. Absolutely love it. So thank y'all so much for being a part of all of this experimentation. So enough about that. I will catch y'all back live later. Go enjoy some good food and company. Catch you later. Adios for now.